Welcome everyone to Loud and Proud Orlando, Thursday, April 25th, 7:38 p.m. Thank you so much for being live with us. We're going to be previewing the game at home against Toronto FC. It's going to be a tough game. It's a team that comes on the up and up. They just defeated also, I believe, for the Canadian Championship. They became the first team to book a spot in the Canadian Championship semifinals, beating the Wanderers 2-1. So last Tuesday, Toronto FC comes with a lot of momentum. We come also with a lot of momentum. The Lions does. So definitely it's going to be an exciting game. Hopefully a delight for all the fans. Hopefully we see some goals from Muriel, from Facu Torres, from a lot of our DPs in this particular game. With me is John to preview the game tonight. How are you, John?
Good, yeah. Can't complain. Just another night here on the pod with you, Luis. Getting ready for Toronto. Excited, hopeful. We talked about these couple games. We need some wins, even though it's a road game. Still hopeful we can get 3 points.
Yeah, definitely. Before we go through with the topics, I want to tell everyone thank you for your support. Check us out on all our social media. We're on X live right now. We are around 6 people live right now on X at LP_podcast. Also on YouTube, about 5 people live as well. So thank you so much for your support. Drop us a thumbs up and a comment. You'll help us out tremendously with spreading the word about our pod. So thank you for your support. And obviously, when you subscribe, just hit the notification bell for all notifications. It will help us out tremendously here at LPL. So we're coming to Toronto FC. Definitely a team that is doing really well. I wanted to actually show John this graphic that I got from our pals from Canadian Soccer Daily right here. And it kind of has to do a lot with what we're going to be sharing right now. Uh, Goal contributors for TFC. Number one, 27 years old, 10 games played, 5 goals in 10 games, having a monster beginning of the season. Prince Owusu, right? 2 assists, 7 points. Are they having a better momentum on the attacking third than we are?
Maybe. I mean, I think probably so far. I would say that they're more goal dangerous than us. Yeah, I would agree with that. Which is crazy to say about Toronto, based on the last couple of years with this team of Insigne and Bernadeschi and these other guys. They've sort of righted the ship. You know what I mean? Like it's going better than the last few years, but I don't know. I'm not 100% bought in on this Toronto thing yet. I think that they've got some talent and they're playing more of a as a team, and that's the difference now. Like it seems to be less about the egos of the Italian guys, of more of a John Herdman, the coach has come in, has managed to get them to play as a team again. And Owusu looks like you're right, Luis. Look, he's the one that's benefiting the most at the moment. He's the one that's getting on the end of these balls. Big, big, tall, fast striker, and he's finding the net so far this season. So he got a couple in the last game.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a player that we need to pay attention to. I truly believe we have the defense to put out the fire for sure. They just gotta be on top form. Um, Aside of that, looking at this particular graphic, this particular table, Jaquil Marshall Ruddy is the other name that comes up right here. Insigne will be it's injured, so Insigne, thankfully, it's not playing at a top level. He always seems to miss Orlando, so either when he plays against Orlando doesn't perform very well, or he's injured. So I think that's good for us. But Jaquil Ruddy, labeled the Wonder Kid of Canada, a kid that in 2021 trained with Liverpool, in their under 20s. Right, he trained actually. He was part of the preparation team, sparring team for the actual top team, Liverpool's top team. So he is the next big thing over there in Canada right now, having a monster season, 9 games, 1 goal, 2 assists. Um, a little bit of youth right there, John. What are your thoughts from Roddy?
Yeah, just looks like the next top talent out of Canada. Just a very like they're playing with wing backs, and he's an aggressive um, wing back for them, and it seems like he's doing a very good job at it. The games that he's played so far, am I right about that? Is he a wing back? Yes, he is. Okay, I'm not confused. I think he's shown why he's in the Canadian national team getting looks at 19 years old. I also love the name Shaquille Marshall Ruddy. You know
Yeah,
what a name the guy's got on him.
see what
I've
the
heard
star
about this
name.
guy for several years, Luis, because I've been a I'm sure as you know I'm a bit of a extra time sicko. I've been listening to extra time for I don't know 10 years or something, and they've been talking about this guy for a few years in the youth systems around the world, and he's been making a splash. So now that he's really breaking into the first team, it seems like a name that I've heard before a lot, but now showing that he's reminds me a little bit of Bakary, not Sanyam Bakary. I'm thinking of Saka, who plays
Oh,
for
okay.
Arsenal.
Wow.
Like he's
That's
that kind of like he was a left winger and then they turned him into a right wing back. You know, he was like an inverted left winger. So he brings that attacking flair from the right wing back position. Definitely going to be an issue for I'm imagining Kyle Smith is going to be a repeat of last week where he had a lot of issues having to deal with. I'm blanking, Lewis. Who is the fullback that caused Kyle Smith problems last week? I can't remember, but Kyle had to deal with a fast fullback last week, and he's going to have to deal with one probably again this week.
yeah. I
So
mean,
it's going
one
to be
thing,
an
one
issue.
yeah, one thing that truly, um, it's I think one of the best attributes of Marshall Ruddy. It's to me the recoveries that he's having. He recovers the ball fast and goes straight into transition, like kind of like Alfonso Davis, kind of in a way. Very dominant. Definitely, Larray is going to have a tough time at trying to get his spot back, but I feel that he will. He's another fantastic player that they have over there. But I can't wait to see him playing in Copa America. I believe Marshall Ruddy is going to definitely be nominated. Also, the recovery part, that means that he's defensively sound also. So he's not like a Rafa Santos that is just one sided, just runs and runs and runs. He
He's
can
got
defend too.
He's got the makings of being like what I would call a complete wingback. Like he's able to join in the attack and but he's also like you said the recoveries and tackles like he's a solid defender as well. The guy I couldn't think of last week was Huan. How did I forget about Huan? Kyle Smith had a lot of trouble last week dealing with the pace of Huan, and it's going to be a similar situation with Marshall Ruddy because there's just so much raw pace there that the way they play with the wing backs, it's always going to be an issue. Both sides. On the other side, Luis, Toronto play Spicer as their like left wing back. He's been playing in the last few games for them. He actually got a goal. So I think again, like on that side, Dagger Dan's going to have to spend a lot of time watching out for their left wing back who's going to get high up the field and make sure that he's marking him and they're not letting that guy get away from us.
Sure. Definitely, it's going to be quite a test for our defenders, for our backs. And we've been having, I will say, a good defensive performances, especially coming from behind. So I believe I have a big faith on our back line for sure. Now let's switch to Bernardeschi, right? Federico Bernardeschi. Now I'm gonna quote right here, and I feel last year he didn't have the best year at all. Actually, he seemed very uninterested in playing the MLS. But his coach has said this. Herdman, former Canadian national team coach, he's just been a warrior every minute of every game he's played. You see his desire to want to press on the attack, his desire to try and score and create. He's just been an absolute rock for me and for this team. That's what he said today uh, about Bernardeschi. From the get go, do you think he's gonna? I mean, I feel he's gonna be troublesome for the. I mean, he has not really been troublesome for Orlando City, in my opinion. I mean, every time we face them, he hasn't really performed well. He's been actually underperforming. Are we seeing a new side of Bernardeschi, John? Do you feel like he's going to be quite a threat in the attack?
Yes and no. I mean, he always had that like skill. It was just a case, like you said, he didn't perform. Maybe under this new system, he's sort of seen a bit of a revelation. Like he's trying. It seems like they're bought in. Like both Insigne and Bernardeschi were not bought in before. They were like last year. They were so frustrated with the. I mean, remember when Duncan retired Michael Bradley? That was like the icing on the cake for Toronto in their terrible, terrible season. So they had a rough time of it last year. This year, they seem more bought into the new plan that John Herdman has impressively got all these guys, singing off the same hymn sheet, as it were. But I still don't know like whether they're that good in this league. Both of these Italians. I was looking. Bernardeschi is number 59 rating in best players in the league based on XG and stats. His rating is 7.32. So by that means there's a lot of other players that are up there or having a better time than him or, performing more. It's at least 50 players in the league that apparently are having better ratings than this year than Bernardeschi. That doesn't scream to me he's a killer DP again. I mean, again, he never was. That's the thing. These guys are DPs that last year everyone would point to them being probably up there at the top of the list of least performing DPs, like biggest wastes of money in the league. The likes of Jordan Shaqiri, Insigne, Bernardeschi, in terms of how much you're paying them and how little you're getting out of them. So Insigne and Bernardeschi might be good this year. I don't think they're going to be world beaters. I don't think they're going to be in the top 10. I don't think either of those guys we're going to talk about at the end of the year as a, MVP candidate or in any of the team of the year conversations. So, yes, they might be better, but I think the bar was so low that when you're going from zero, you make it a little bit better, and the coach he's keeping them up. He's keeping the positivities up. He's just trying to keep it all together because as we've seen in Toronto, when it falls apart, it's very publicly fall apart pretty bad for them. So I think he's just trying to keep everything moving in the right direction and saying positive things about Bernardeschi that we've seen a little bit from him, but not like he's a MVP candidate.
Now, let's read some comments here. Stream Jesus. Toronto is going to try to hit the Lions with a tranquilizer. They're still salty how we retire Bradley by Orlando's own Duncan McGuire. Correct. That's a fantastic, fantastic comment, Stream Jesus. Thank you so much for your support. 25 people on X and about 7 people on YouTube. Thank you so much for your support. This is Loud and Proud Orlando. Another player, I would say that it's been on the up and up, frequent starter. I would say former Newcastle United player Matthew Longstaff. He came with he had an ACL tear, ACL injury, and he was signed by Toronto back on the window. He had a dream debut against Man United, but he was pretty much sent to League Two to pretty much play, and he's pretty much played League Two his most of his career, and he got the ACL injury there. Toronto picked him up, but he's been quite of a good player for Toronto. Very influential, kind of in a way, kind of what Dagger Dan has been, but in a different position for Orlando. Very consistent. So, what are your thoughts from Matthew Longstaff, John?
You mean Matty Longstaff? That's how I know him, Luis.
Oh,
Is
Matty, yeah.
yeah, Matty
Well,
Longstaff. We're getting really British there. He's been around like in the Newcastle Academy for years. It was always like a guy that I played on with FM. I played a lot of Football Manager. I played with him for many, many times, both him and his brother, Sean Longstaff, who's still there at Newcastle, and I believe gets some minutes in the Premier League every now and then. So Matty is the lesser of the two brothers, but still definitely, at one point was a potential, like he was in the England national youth national teams and stuff. So he was definitely seen as a prospect. It just was one of those situations where was he going to ever be a Premier League player? Probably not. And he got loaned out a bunch by Newcastle, and then sometimes those guys they find their way over here to MLS. The ones that kind of fall through the gaps. He could have gone and played for a championship team. I think there's a lot of championship teams in the UK that would quite happily take this guy. So I think he's a decent talent for this league. He's obviously settled in well when he's come in. He's playing that box to box midfielder role very well. That's like sort of his bread and butter. He can go forward a little bit more in the attack, but he's a up and down, like a ball shuttler kind of guy. But it's funny to me seeing him over here and how these players land on their feet. So if anybody has any questions on Matty Longstaff, I'm sure Jake, who is a fan of Orlando City and a fan of Newcastle, can fill you in all about this guy. But yeah. Another one as well,
fantastic.
Luis, is Kevin Long, who is
Yeah.
another
So, about to get to that.
ex. Yeah, he's in a similar boat. Like that's why I brought him up, because like bounced around the UK, played for different clubs, and then has ended up over here. And then they've got a few like Brits in their squad. They've got a couple Irish guys and an English guy. So it makes a
Now,
lot of sense.
he's a little bit of a firecracker, right? He already got a red card. So I think, I mean, if he decides to play rough against Orlando, I mean, we have a lot of crafty wingers and midfielders to just kind of, draw the foul, right, and draw the set piece. I mean, he certainly he got his first goal in the Canadian Championship after a good assist from Osorio, but he's been also an important part of this team, coming as a sub, sometimes starting. So, I mean, overall, I think Toronto has done pretty well with the signings. Do you think so?
I think they've definitely turned it around. But like I said, when you're at the bottom of the table 2 years in a row, it's that's the bare minimum. I think it remains to be seen at the end of the year whether Toronto are a playoff team or not. They're up there. They've started well. They're up there in fifth. So they've started well, but it could all go backwards for them. If I were them, I think they tried to get rid of Bernardeschi and Insigne, but that didn't really happen. So they're just I think they're treading water until they can reset their
Right.
entire squad. Honestly, and John Herdman was smart to bring in because he's playing all of the young Canadians that he knows, like Marshall Ruddy, and that's like a future for them that they can build off. If I was a Toronto fan, I'd be like
Great.
waiting
Yeah.
for Insigne and Bird, and maybe in the summer they might even move him out. It might have been that the winter they weren't able to. So this team is one that I think is like in the process, Luis, of going through a major rebuild. They just haven't able to get rid of the guys that are weighing them down right now.
All right, let's read some comments here. Thank you so much for your support. Let's see. We have a Popka Mango. Are we going to see a Colombian score a goal in this game? There you go. Thank you so much, a Popka Mango. Nice puppy right there. Stream Jesus. I hope Maguire scores another one. We crowd. The crowd just goes twice as wild when he does. We truly love that guy. Anthony Solis, 4 points over 2 road games is always great. There you go. Thank you so much, Anthony. Appreciate that. Thank you, Stream Jesus. Look, we have the highlights of the great, fantastic, outstanding, mesmerizing win 5-0 against Simcoe. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
Simcoe County Rovers FC from the Canadian Championship. Anthony Solis also says we need that Ojeda goal. There you go. Thank you. Let's watch it. And it's a minute 29. There you go.
You're going to laugh. I'll say that.
Okay. Let's see.
Hangs it up in the air. Here's Marshall Runny. Down on his knees was Portal. He blocks it with his shoulder.
Oh, my.
Unstaff recovers the loose ball. Franklin, another nice looking cross.
Oh, is that an own goal?
No.
I
But
mean,
Owusu completely unmarked at the back.
Yeah. Very
I was
physical.
to say this is a small team in Canada, so yeah. But you can see that. Yeah, you'll see from the highlights.
He kind of looks
not the
like
best defending in this game.
Let's see here the commentary.
Sorio.
Owusu.
TFC back to work.
Oh man.
An easy finish, but a massive goal for the home side.
Man, they go fast in this goal. It's 2-0 right there, minute 32.
Outswinger by Osorio.
It's getting long right there. He was completely unmarked. Completely unmarked right there with Kevin Long.
Yep.
Now, I do want to say that they rotated their squad for this game.
They did, yeah. Clearly. But I mean, they played some big starters.
Yeah.
Like Owusu was starting.
I mean, completely like nothing to do. Osorio right there by himself. Definitely Orlando City has a better backline than Simcoe.
I looked at this to be like, okay, they won 5-0. Like, were they incredible? And they played well, but also the team they played could not. Bless their hearts. Geez. They just got trounced in defense. So
that's really bad.
That's how Owusu got 2 assists and a goal. He got 9.1 in this game. That's like their entire team got over 7s. Most of them are some of them are over 8s, and another 9.1 from Franklin at right wing back. Like the ratings of this game on football are hilarious. And then on the other side, poor Simcoe Rovers with 4.7s on the back line. So it didn't really give me a good example. I mainly looked to see, Luis, how much they rotated because this was Wednesday night that they played this game. And obviously we're playing on Saturday. I wanted to see, if I were them, I would have rotated more. I don't know why they started Owusu if they knew this was the level of talent they were going up against.
It's a championship. It's a championship. It's important for them, This
is like Open Cup first round, Luis. Play somebody else. Come on. If that's just me, but whatever. Fine. If you want to play your starter and trounce some guys and get tired before you play us, that's fine by me. It seemed though that they could have rotated it a little bit more.
Yeah, talking about the Open Cup, Jamie Chin. Well, no, Dennis Chin.
Yep. Friend of mine.
Yeah, great guy. He's been in the pod here many times. He obviously he's representing, some good players, and he's now his business now represents Dom Dwyer. So he's become Dom Dwyer is the new player of the Oakland Roots. Oakland Roots, huh?
Yeah.
It's gonna be playing for the Oakland Roots. A huge signing for the Oakland Roots. So I think that's a USL team. So he
Yeah.
goes. Dom Dwyer goes full circle and comes back to USL. So, anyways, Owusu 2 assists, 1 goal. Toronto is in top shape. They're fifth in the league with 13 points, -3 in goal differential. Now, I know that this is off topic, but I really don't understand how Inter Miami keeps signing players,
Yeah, I just
right?
ignore it now. I see. I'm like, oh, look, another one.
And they're really good players from South America, young under 22 initiative players for sure.
Well, yeah,
I don't know
we'll
how they're doing it, but
we'll go into
e-
that.
either way, Toronto 13 points. Where's Orlando City? Well, Orlando City is 12 with 9 points. So this is a must-win game at home, in my opinion. If we win this game, we get 12 points. We're gonna be right here between 7, 8, or 9, depending on other results, right, John? So um, this is the best version you would say of Toronto to date, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's like we said before with the what we've seen from this squad. I mean, like I remember the 2018 Toronto. They killed it. They were a great team. They won MLS, but this version of Toronto, not so much. And I think that, like we said, Herdman's got them looking better, but I don't know. It remains to be seen how good this team actually is. Based on the last couple of years, they should be down there. But I think the younger players, like we said, are the ones that are gonna kind of come through and shine and get better. What I would say is they've definitely improved defensively. They
Yeah,
are they are top of the clean sheets in MLS.
look at that.
They have 5 clean sheets. Um, and next is a bunch of teams on 3. So they have 2 more clean sheets than any other team in MLS so far this season. So they definitely know how to defend. Whether that is an issue for us at home with the tendency that we have sometimes when teams sit in and put like banks of defenders in front of us and we struggle to break them down, Luis. I don't know, but we'd like Toronto to come and attack us and open up the game a little bit and allow us to score some goals because I think we're looking at an Orlando City that's not scoring a lot or has picked up recently, but so far this season we haven't scored a lot of goals. And then you're looking at Toronto, who have conceded the least amount of goals. So that kind of tells me that it might not be the most exciting game, Luis. Are we looking at a 0-0 that we just can't score and they can't score? I don't know. Maybe.
Look, I feel in the last 3 games, Orlando has conceded the first goal of every single match, and to me, those goals have come before I think minute 20, 25 or 25th, right below the 25th minute. So, look, I praise the resiliency of the team, and I praise the fact that out of one of those games, we won, and that's obviously the mentality that the team needs to have. But I kind of, in a way, feel like if we would have not given up those early goals, we could have definitely controlled more of those 3 games than suffering and suffering unnecessarily. You know what I mean? So I think Orlando now has had time to, kind of properly train, and we need to see again, this great backline that Toronto has right now that's showing that they have all these, big players now on the back line performing really well. They need to break the deadlock within the first 15 minutes of the game. I think once we do that, they're gonna, we need to stop having, mental mistakes, you know, um, like the one on the last game, when it came to the first goal for, for our last rival that we played, we had a
Montreal.
mental Montreal. Yeah, we had another Canadian that we faced there mental mistake right there in the back line. So we cannot see that. Also, I don't know what you feel about that, because we also need to take advantage of our possession and our pressing needs to mean something. And, we're going to be playing at home. It's probably be within, 77, 85, 82 degrees. It's going to be probably perfect weather. Toronto, comes from playing a Canadian championship. So we need to take advantage of that, continue with that press. And I feel we need to score first, John. This is, I think that's something that we need to do.
We gotta be better with the not conceding early.
Yeah.
That's like we said with Toronto. If they don't concede a lot, so if we concede one or two and we're not able to, that's how you lose at home against this team. So there's a comment here that says from Anthony Luis, says, from the way that Toronto has been playing right now, reminds me of Nashville from 21-22, very narrow and tight. Then that we got to also be like that, Luis. We've been the opposite of that so far this season. We've been like loose and sloppy at the back. And that's, for me, I want to see a game without any silly giveaway goals. Like, I want to see a game where if this team scores against us, they really earned it with a good play. I feel like this year we've been giving away a lot of goals, either with errors by individual players or errors by the whole team or just switching off. We've been more defensively lax than I think we've ever seen under Oscar. And that is probably frustrating for him more than anybody, because he's always been drilling into us to be hard to beat, to be difficult, to be defensively solid. We need to get that back, and especially at home. I don't want to be conceding to,
of course,
multiple goals at home, especially not in the first half. That's what we've been seeing, and we're just constantly digging ourselves out of holes. And it's great because we've been doing it the last couple of games, but at some point we're going to dig ourselves in a hole and we won't be able to get out of it. And that could be Toronto if we go 2 down. Like I said, they are difficult to score against. So we have to be the ones to score first. I agree. The good news is they're out a few players. They don't have Insigne that we talked about. They don't have Larea as well, which is big for that. But I think Marshall Ruddy would be taking his spot at right wing back anyway.
Sure, yeah.
And O'Neill is another big center back piece missing for them. So there's some positives for us. I don't think it's all bad. And I also think that this early in the table, maybe 5th is flattering them at the moment. I don't know if they're going to be up there at the end of the year.
And then you want to add also, not only they just played somebody in the Canadian Championship, they played Simcoe County Rovers, but also the traveling between, Canada to Florida, we cannot let someone that just played dominate in our own home turf. I don't think fans will like that at all whatsoever. Because I'm sure there's going to be at least 21,000 people there on the weekend. Another thing is, we need to, if we're going to possess the ball, again, it has to mean something. We just possess the ball for no reason. We have to make them tired. We have to make them chase the ball in a hard terrain like ours, with a fan base yelling 90 minutes the whole time. Also, if we get let's say the first score, Toronto is going to chase us either way. They're going to try to chase us. So that physically, for a team that just traveled, it is very imposing. And it may help us, in the second half with fresh legs from Oscar. Because right now, Oscar has demonstrated that he's been putting the right pieces at the right time. And I don't think you can take that away from him, because we came from behind in 2 games. So I think that's detrimental. And I don't know, but the next thing I wanted to say before I read Stream Jesus, and I wanted to ask you too, is the DPs. Facu scored of a penalty. We still need to see the other 2 score, right, John?
I don't really count Facu's penalty, honestly. Right? The penalty, like the guy has been hiding sometimes between his penalty stats. You know what I mean? Like, we talk about Facu got X amount of goals each year, but how many of those are actually penalties? So for me, Facu is like, yes, you scored a penalty, but I need like a goal or an assist from open play from him. Angulo and Ojeda are stepping
Well,
it up.
Hayden needs to score it, man. He deserves
Ojeda
it.
needs to get a start. Like, stop
Yeah,
dropping Ojeda. It does not help. Like, keep him on that
he's
right
definitely
wing
going to start.
position. Him and Dagger are developing a partnership. Just keep him at that right wing. Angulo, I think, is the one that looks the most encouraging the last couple of games. Honestly, I think he's starting to look like the Angulo of last year again. So, but he's not even a DP, Luis. I just think of him like that sometimes. The other one,
No,
the big one that needs to step up is Luis Muriel, and we talked about it at length on Monday. We could talk about it at length here. Everybody knows. There's nothing else to say. Just score goals. Just go score a goal, please. Just put the ball in the back of the net. And this is an opportunity to do that. Every game is an opportunity to do that, but at home, right the wrongs. Just score a goal. That's it.
look, people think that because you play Europe, you could play MLS. Luis Muriel shows you right there that it's not true. You need, I feel.
Maybe he'll be sympathetic with Bernardeschi and Insigne. The three of them could stand together and be like, "Oh, MLS is so hard.
Yeah.
¿Qué
That's
pasa?"
no, that's true, right? They could be
they'll
like,
be like, "Can we go back to
this
Italy?
is,
That's easier there."
yeah, they're like, how do you say it in Italian? Molto difficile, molto difficile, molto
See, see.
difficile. No, Mario, no, I'm just kidding. No, molto difficile. So, honestly, I feel that, you know, Muriel's goal is coming. I want to see Ojeda score. I think this kid, once he scores one, he's just gonna turn it around. I have a big feeling that Oscar is gonna put Ojeda in this game. I think this is a perfect game for Ojeda to start. And I think I would rather see, again, tired legs, fresh Nico Lodero, to be gritty, to recover the ball, go in transition. That's, I think, something that we could see. And, we need to see Luis Muriel score the first one. I think once Luis Muriel gets the first one, boom, we're going to start seeing them coming. Obviously, the frustration of the fans is definitely well documented, and it's totally understandable for them to feel frustrated. It seems like we talk about this every week, right? But it is true. And also, like you said, Ojeda and Dagger have this, like Mr. Anthony is saying right here, they have that bromance on the right, right? Now, Stream Jesus says the sprinklers are loaded with holy water. The wall has the sage ready. This game will be blessed in favor of the Jungle Boys. Amen. There you go. Thank you,
Stream
Mr.
Jesus, are you
Stream
gonna
Jesus.
lead us in some kind of ceremony before the game for the saging of the pitch? Because that's what I'm expecting. So
We're gonna see him in Halloween. We're gonna see Stream Jesus, I'm sure.
yeah,
I have a feeling, yeah.
I like. I want to see. I just like one day when I look up at the wall and just see a guy dressed as Jesus, and be like, "Oh, it's Stream Jesus."
But I don't know if you want to do our lineup, or you wanna, or if I'm missing something.
Well, do you want to do the press conference, or you want to?
Oh yeah, we can do the press
We can
conference
let people watch
actually.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, we could actually put first the practice from today. I was busy today all day, so I wasn't able to put it on social media, but I'll have it later. You see, Pedro is looking on point right there, man. There you go. Let's see. There you go.
Did he just catch that, Luis?
There you go. There you go.
Is
For
he
you,
doing
John.
catching training?
For you, John. For you. That's for you right there.
See,
Boom.
this is evidence. So if he doesn't catch it in a game, I'll be like, I got
There
on
you go.
tape that you could do it.
You go, Mason. Oh my God.
Nope. Oh,
There you
catching too.
go. Oh, perfect.
I love the coach's gear.
Oh, so
I want
he.
that coach's swag.
Oh, so look, he's plays in Spanish, right? Let me see.
See,
Oh, so Nico, that's like he's like part of the coaching staff. There you go.
Nico knows best, man.
There's Sukata right there. Look at Faku right there. Angulo. Oh, good catch, Mason. There you go. There you go. Ooh, yo. There you go. He's ready. Lynn. Oh, that's Felipe.
Yeah, Jackie hits the screamer.
Oh, that's Jacqueline right there.
Yeah,
Hey, we may see Jacqueline may be that X Factor player, man. I'm telling you.
he's gonna be available this week, I think.
Yep. There you go.
OCB plays
Ooh.
tonight, right, or tomorrow?
Yeah.
Sorry, no. OCB plays on Sunday night.
Yeah, I mean,
Toronto
definitely.
too. So
They're getting ready.
Jack could do both if he wants.
Yeah.
He might do
And I
both.
think
He's done it before.
I think he's a great. I think he definitely has to be part of the team. I mean, um, God forbid something happens with our attackers. I have full trust in Jacqueline. You know.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
let's see.
come the summer, Luis, he might be stepping up.
We got to get another player under 22 initiative. Inter Miami signing, like if it's like brand new underwear, like fruit of the loom.
Wow.
They're just signing. You
They
know,
just
we gotta do our own signings.
they just stuffed a little cash under the mattress, and that freed up more space. So
Let's get I don't know. Let's get somebody from a different league, maybe.
wow.
I mean we could scout like top talent in other leagues too. Japan. You know, other countries if people are kind of a little tired of the South American flair. We could experiment a little bit. Maybe Scandinavian. Maybe get another Scandinavian guy, right? So let's see what Oscar said today on conference here. Let me see. I'm looking right here. All right, let's see what Oscar said right here.
All right, Oscar. Coming off of back-to-back road results, now you get to come back home for the first time in what seems like a month. How's the team prepping for Toronto now?
We're good. Mentality has been positive. The results away just gave us energy and it's just a momentum that we want to keep here. That now we're going to be back in front of our fans. Yes.
Does it feel like last year where maybe you're getting closer to getting the right pieces together and getting this team back to what we saw in the second half of last season?
Right. It looks like we are getting more cohesiveness with the boys and they're gluing more things together.
There you go.
And
The
it's
gluing,
curious,
John.
but we review. We have done it in the prior games, but since you don't get results, it seems like it's not happening. But at the end, you have to win games. You have to get results. So the good things magnified, and the things that are not being done well, that it seems like you have more time to fix it. But indeed, it's important that you get results.
I know these late equalizers and winners can't be good for your heart rate, but what is it?
Asking the tough questions, John. Tough. That's a tough question right there. Tough question.
Evan Weston.
Does it say to you about the boys that they're never out of a game? They don't know when they're beat. That they can find. I think it's 3 straight in the 88th minute or later. You guys have changed the result.
Right. Yeah. Well, you always have a space for analysis there. I'm trying kind of to see both ways, encourage the players and training them, and see if we can open the games and we can spend more time winning instead just chasing them. But then the other side is something very valuable that you don't often get in the teams, and it's very difficult to achieve. Is to have a mentality that is never done. That you have the capacity, that you have the energy, that you have the courage to don't give up and just keep pushing and overcome those moments. Uh, that I like a lot. And we are conscious that we need to get better the other part and see we can just instead chasing, we can be leading.
Great question by Evan Weston. I do want to say kudos to Evan Weston, phenomenal human being, great guy. He's definitely in the press box sometimes, also downstairs doing his little interviews, commentary for Orlando City. So he's a good guy. Definitely asking the tough questions there, John. So far, what do you think about what Oscar's saying, John? What are your thoughts?
I like what he says. I agree entirely. I think it's like we were saying. It's wonderful that we're a comeback cardiac cats team the last couple games, but let's stop getting ourselves in these holes to begin with.
Right.
But I don't want to lose that. Like that, I think there was times at the beginning of last year when we went through a rough patch where we would go down a goal and then we didn't feel like we had any chance of coming back. That's different this year. Like, yes, we've struggled at the beginning of the season. Things are picking up, but more than anything, we're showing that, like Oscar says, it's not over till it's over, right? We're not giving up. We're not, and that's allowing us to come back into games and get some results. But we almost don't want to be doing that for this game. Like let's start out getting goals and see out games instead of chasing wins.
I agree. Let's see what else he said
Profe, ¿cómo está? Le voy a preguntar,
in
acá
Spanish.
mencionaba que usted le daba indicaciones que defienda y que vaya al ataque un poco más. ¿Cómo ha sido Cal en su sistema que lo puede utilizar de varias posiciones, no? Es un jugador que solamente...
Sí.
Talking about Kyle's versatility, that last game told him to kind of play more defensively, and there's been some games that he's playing more in the attack minded, obviously playing in the mid. It's a defensive mid, so
Sí. Te juega de central con mucha naturalidad.
so
Entonces,
he's talking about
Pero también es en la parte emocional.
he's talking about Kyle's versatility, saying he could play either or position, and pretty much give him a high five to Kyle.
Muy positivo para el equipo, para ustedes. ¿Se están jugando más de 3 puntos este fin de semana o?
It says Alonso asked the tougher questions. He's not going there to the press box to scratch himself. He's going there to work. And he asked, I'm going to say this. He said, is this game a 6-point game for Orlando City?
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean,
and then look at that grin right there.
It probably is. I mean, Oscar would
I agree.
that, but
I think
in some ways it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Sí, porque es que uno es muy feo cuando uno se ve por fuera de los equipos de arriba, ¿cierto? Ya para Orlando es muy importante estar arriba.
It's very important for Orlando to be up in the standings.
Incómodos tener el equipo en
we feel a little bad.
Una posición baja.
The way that we
Así
in the
que es
position that we
cierto
are
que
right now.
apenas empezamos la temporada, pero también pues es
The
una
season just
competencia,
started, but it is a competition,
hay que ganar
and
partidos y
we have
estar
to
arriba.
win games, and we have to keep thinking that we're going to be striving to move up in every single game. So,
Toronto team coming up this weekend. What kind of things have you kind of noticed within the film so far? What kind of things do they present you?
Well, first, I think it's a team very well coached. He has had already a regularity with the roster and the team and time to work. So I can see in the film that they are more structural, and the things that I see, the sequences, the plays and things are more.
So they've studied film on them. That's good to know.
More often, so it's a good team. It's a good team. But like in Major League Soccer, it's like any other battle with not many advantage to any. It's just another game of those that you have that try to impose your good things and trying to weaken them the possibilities that they can have to hurt you. So it's going to be a very good game.
You look around the league, it almost feels like there's, Toronto last year was the bottom of the table. They've already won as many games this year as they did all last year. It doesn't really seem like there's many teams that you just go, oh, we're gonna win this week. What do you think of where the league is right now, and how
That's a
things
league
have
question.
evolved to where there's so
I mean, of course he's gonna say. I mean, I'm sorry, but of course he's gonna say. I mean, he's not gonna say, "Oh no, the MLS." You know.
But
Of
yeah,
course.
we said preseason, Luis. The East is a
Right.
bloodbath, and we
Right,
put
it
like
is.
Toronto down there as a team that is only wouldn't be in the mix, and so I agree. Like there are teams that have fixed their problems, and there's a lot of strength in the East. I don't think there's any easy games.
I know that a lot of people, and I will say this very hardcore. I just feel Orlando's gonna win this game for sure. I mean I agree with the expectation is for this team to win no matter what. Now, do I want to see a 5-0 win? Of course. Do I want to see a 1-0 win? A 2-1 win? Of course. I mean, all I want is just the W. I could care less the score. We just need to win. Let's read some comments. Um, it says Jungle Boys is crazy. It says Anthony Solis. Inter Miami got that. No, I'm not gonna read that.
They got that OBT money, Luis. Let's say that.
That ref belongs on OBT.
They got that
money.
ref money. Yeah.
There you go. Jim D says this is a must win. Only gets harder from here on out. No more excuses from Pareja. Says Jim D. Poppy. If Poppy wins, you guys gotta get ready, Jim D. You and your Jungle Boys gotta get ready for that Twitter. Jeffrey O. Hey guys, do you think Oscar will take us far this season or the years to come? I'm curious about our other coaches, but I don't know who come in next season and take us further. Well, I could mention a couple. Are you ready? Joseph Mourinho, right? People will die. Oh my God, Mourinho. Oh, Mourinho. Oh. Bruce Arena.
Oh, please, no.
Jurgen Klinsmann.
No.
Why not?
Oh,
Proven.
Oh.
If he doesn't do really well, you can bring Berhalter. There you go. John officially quits. I can't believe.
I think the question is, Jeffrey O. I think one that they've signed Oscar for multiple years. So unless it's like really bad this year, like I think we would have to not make playoffs for us not to see Oscar next year. So that I think the question about who the coach will be next season, I think the Wilfs are big fans of Oscar and they like him, and I think that as long as he does enough to be like, okay, it wasn't the greatest season, let's go again next year. As long as he does enough to hit his like baseline requirement for them, then I don't think they'll get rid of him. And like Luis says, if there's always like, oh, I'll get somebody else. Like there's always a bunch of guys, but like honestly, there's not that many coaches that want to come from Europe that are like top level coaches. They want to coach in Europe.
Xavi.
Yeah, Stream Juice. Imagine it's Xavi from Barcelona. Yeah, like no, that's not gonna happen, is it? It's more like the other way. Like Wilfred Nancy is showing that he is a very good coach.
Wilfred Nancy.
Like that is someone that is like, yeah, you could bring him over,
sure.
but he's not gonna leave Columbus to come to us. Like, what's the point in making a lateral MLS move for him? It's not gonna happen. He's gonna go to Europe, probably to France at some point. Like he's going to get poached to go back over there. I mean, you look at their example. Phil Neville was hired by Portland. He's doing a decent job,
doing better.
actually. But that's the level of guy that's available in the market who wants to come here. And don't forget that. And Luis talks about all the time. We're not New York. We're not LA. So if you are Jose Mourinho, all right, for example, and you come to the MLS sniffs that you're interested in coming here, you're just like a player. They're gonna go, where do you want to go, Jose? Like, pick a freaking team. And do you think Jose Mourinho's picking us?
Orlando City.
I would love that.
Eu quero fechar.
Let's go.
Orlando
But also,
City.
we don't know that these guys would even be good in MLS. Like, MLS is such a unique league. It's not like European coaches can come over and immediately be amazing. You need to know how to win in this league. You need to know how to deal with the travel. MLS coaches don't grow on trees, I guess is what I'm saying. So
look, what I'm trying to say is
Oscar is, yes, we get frustrated, but he is still a very good coach in this league, whether people like that or not.
I would say if he would leave Orlando, he'll get poached by an LA Galaxy, by a
he would have immediately, like, if we hadn't signed his contract, Luis, there was 4 or 5 clubs that would have scooped him immediately.
for sure. And people are saying, yeah, but change is great. And I hear it a lot, people comparing us to, the Portuguese league, Manchester City, Chelsea. We're not those teams. I mean, you're talking about, you have Banco do Brasil in International Drive. We're a small city. Like, we have a way now. We have a core of players. We have a process. So I'll be honest with you. Did the Brazilian era worked, John?
Yeah, that put us on the map. Kaká
put us on the map, right?
Yeah, he made us a name globally, which is what he was there for.
Now, is that because it worked? Does that mean that we're gonna now, because Facundo Torres is our DP, we're gonna not only be signing Uruguayan players? That's not true. We still have, talent from Brazil, right? So it's about growing. It's about opening yourself to different things. Orlando, it does things a little different. Yes, we want to win. We want to be, the next FC Barcelona. We want to have history like Real Madrid. We were founded in 2015, guys, in the MLS. I mean, yes, we have a lot of history that backtracks the MLS, but officially for the MLS, we were born in 2015. So we also have to know our role. We have to know our role. Yes, expectations are greater. Now, another thing I've heard a lot is like, because you treat your Vikings one way, right? The Vikings was the last time they got into a Super Bowl. So, like, people are just, I feel they're trying to play Football Manager, John. Like, they feel like, they're going to build a stadium. Like, they know about stadium building, marketing, marketing for soccer teams, and they know all these things. It's just like, it's not as easy as it seems right now. Yes, I feel like if Orlando doesn't qualify to the playoffs, I mean, unfortunately, changes are gonna come. I mean, I do not doubt that, but do we feel really that Orlando is not going to go to the playoffs? I think Orlando's going to go to the playoffs.
I think.
Now, are we just content to go to the playoffs? Of course I'm not, but I won't be upset if they go to the playoffs.
I also think it's such a long season, Luis, and you have to peak at the end. So if we peak at the end and wherever we are, we're in the playoffs and we go hot into the playoffs, then we have just as good a chance as any other team at winning MLS Cup. So this whole, doom and gloom of like the season is over already, it's not. Like, yes, we might be slipping away from Supporters Shield. Yeah, that's getting further and further away. That's very difficult at this point. But also, we were similar position last year, and we came second at this point in the season, right? Not far off where we are now, and we came second. So miracles can happen. My point being is that we're probably most likely going to make the playoffs. let's see where we are at the end of the year, and that's whether we're going to be able to be a contender or not. And there's a lot of things we can figure out between now and then, like stuff that we've got to deal with, the summer transfer window, all of that, the Leagues Cup, etc. There's so many things that could happen that at the end of the year we could be looking at a different lineup, a different formation, a different team, and maybe that's what triggers, like last year when we figured out the double pivot. We don't know what we're going to look like at the end of this year. So I think sometimes the doom and gloom around, like, oh, it's all over already, I think is not necessary. I think that, yes, the Supporter Shield might be over. Yes, we might be out of Champions Cup, but the beauty of MLS is that such a long season. There's 9 teams that get in the playoffs. You've got a long time to figure it out before you have to be really on top form to win this thing.
I mean, there's more to the Wolves have money. They can get Yak Grealish. There's more to that.
Well, it's the restrictions, like the Naki
Right.
comment here. It's
Right.
not like you can just throw money
Right.
at it and just keep adding DPs. Unless
think
you're Miami, apparently.
Right. I think that if you speculate, and that's, I think, the lopsided message here. When you speculate and you compare Orlando City to Manchester City to Chelsea to other teams in Europe, other leagues in Europe, and you compare the MLS, it's just we're a different beast. We got to compare. Orlando needs to compare themselves to Columbus, to other teams. Yes, it's a rocky start, but there's a lot of things that could get better. And what we're going to be every game Orlando ties and draws and loses, we're going to be like, I'm sorry, this is a little passive aggressive, right? We're going to be crying. We tied, man, we lost. And then the other day we win. We are a family. Celebrate good times. Come on. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to be that way. I think we're given. I have no doubt that the team is going to perform and they're going to turn it around. I mean, we're already seeing it in these 4 points. We're already seeing it. So it's just what we see here. Naki says here, no other coach, even MX coach, desired to come here because of budget. Too limiting along with loss. There you go. Thank you so much. We have to clover them, Luis, so we could beat the salty fries salty again. There you go, Stream Jesus. Thank you. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, we waste our time and our comments to just, instead of talking about how great the Pride is playing, right? And like Luis, freaking LPL, put in the rep to the Pride. By the way, they didn't clobber anybody. They just won 1-0. Come on, man. You're going to really get so riled up over one burb? Come on, dude. Come on, man. The hunker down. Unfortunately, it's how you compete against Fort Lauderdale to see where you are. And by the end of the year, if Miami stays healthy, now if you let other clubs do the same in the MLS, then we will see club growth. MLS is not the same. Apples to oranges compared to other leagues. Completely agree. The hunker down.
Yeah.
I agree with you, John. I agree with hunker down, John. I think what Miami's doing is crazy, but what do you feel that we're going to do with this new law that apparently is going to increase a number of players that maybe we could get? Do you see Orlando heavily investing in this and maybe getting 3 new players?
Well, it's the
under 22.
They unlinked it from the DP to the U22 rule. So we currently have 3 DPs. I don't imagine that's going to change in the summer. Maybe it will, but right now I don't think anybody's coming in to buy Facu.
No.
And not for the price that we want to sell him at, right? We spent 15 million on him. I don't think he's worth more than 15 million right now. So I don't think Facu's going to get that big sale this summer. I don't think Ojeda's going anywhere anytime soon. And Muriel just
Canadian dollars or US dollars?
Yeah, right. Muriel just got here. So I think we're keeping those TPs. It's the U22s that is what excites me, because we've got Cesar and Enrique, I believe, still under that right now. So maybe I think we may have bought one of them down though to get Muriel in for that. So one of them might no longer be a U22, in which case that would leave us 2 U22s. It depends. I think in the summer if Duncan goes, we're definitely going to need a striker, or Jack Lynn's got to be promoted. I still think we could do another fullback because, like Mikey Halliday, we haven't seen him at all. And Dagger has been great, but he's had injuries, Mikey, and not really developed like we hoped the last couple of years. So fullback for me is an issue, especially with Haffa not performing well, and right now Kyle Smith being our only viable left back option at the current state of things. So that, and then maybe a center mid, Luis. So if we go find us a U22 fullback and a U22 center mid,
I agree. Wholeheartedly with
that
you.
could plug some gaps and help us a little bit. But I also think we have guys in the squad that we could develop into being those gap fillers. I think often people are like wary to give young players chances, but the only way they get better is if you play them. So I'm kind of frustrated this year, Luis, because I want to see more minutes for young players. Like I love Kyle Smith, but
Thomas
why
Williams?
can't? Well, maybe
Freeman.
I think more like Kaczewski is one.
Kaczewski,
we had issues with the D mid,
sure.
and we never really
Shaq.
Shaq has been doing well. OCB, like we need another winger, in my opinion, to come off the bench. Like Enrique's been injured. Why isn't Shaq being used more? Like you look at what we just talked about with Toronto, and they just other teams just throw youth players chances. And yes, they might not always have the best game, but then you find these guys who are like, oh, he could be really good. And then they become a first teamer. And that's how they push into the squad. If you never give them enough chances, in my opinion, it's never going to happen. So we've got a lot of youth. We got a lot of youth on Orlando City squad right now that I think is stagnated and is never going to develop unless we play them more.
Now, I do want to ask, and I do want to say that the way Orlando has proven that they, get players is low cost or high reward. Galese came this way into the team. Ivan Angulo came like that into the team, loaned. Ramiro Enrique, Miguel Martin Ojea. That's the way Orlando hires players. That's how they contract. Right now, we're not seeing a Neymar. We're not seeing somebody from, I don't know, the Turkish league. We're not seeing anybody from Germany. We're not seeing anybody from, right. That doesn't mean that's not going to happen. But I mean, in the end, low cost, high reward. A player that is able to play multiple positions, like Cartagena as well, right, John? So
yeah,
it's that's the way Orlando, makes their signings.
I think in MLS, Luis, you have to hit on your DPs. Correct. The only way you're going to win anything because of the rules is your top of players you have to hit on those. And right now we're looking at our DPs. Muriel is not hitting.
Not so bright.
Facu was a U22 before, and now he's a full DP.
Yeah.
And it's a question of like, is this guy DP material? Honestly, I'm asking myself this right now about Facu. And then Ojeda, again, another guy that maybe is DP material if we played him more. We don't know. But the U22s, Luis, we've been very successful on. Cesar, Enrique,
Ramiro.
Right? So maybe get a couple more U22s is better for us, like you said, in our model and what we do. If we're going to go for DPs, maybe we need to go for like DPs that we know are going to be 100%
immediate impact,
100% hits. But looks like what they did with Muriel, right? And then here we are.
Well, of course, I think when it comes to our DPs, they're underperforming, and I think that's
and
safe
you're never
to
going to win MLS Cup with underperforming DPs.
Now, the players that are carrying the team are players that have come under the radar. Angulo, beginning when he first joined Orlando. Do you think do I believe that the Wall knew who Galese was when he first came? No, no one knew who he was. So under the radar, a lot of the players that have come, Robin Jensen under the radar too. Look, so
Some of
that's the
our
way.
best players are
Yeah.
Dagger
Now,
Dan.
one player that just was just from a different level was Nani, because of what of his work ethic. Also, he's a player that never he never give up. If he has to stay in the gym 20 hours out of the 24 hours out of the day, he's gonna do it. You know.
The
So
difference in fitness from the 32-year-old Nani that we signed and the
correct.
32-year-old Luis Muriel that we
Yeah,
signed,
no, night and day.
that's where it matters. If you're gonna
That's right.
sign, and like Nico, look at Nico, 34,
Boom. He looks
incredible
like
shape.
CrossFitter.
That's, I'm not saying Muriel can't get back up to fitness, but right now he looks like a guy that's falling off, dramatically from what he used to be.
Just read some comments. Oscar always been better at youth prospects. There you go, the hunker down. You're right. Jim D, the only DP showing a real upside is riding the bench. It's crazy. There you go. Thank you, Jim D. Appreciate it. Yeah, you're completely right on that. Muriel needs to score, then we will be good. It feels that like only spot youth shines through is at the striker position. Thank God Galese came out of the early slump, saved us points many games lately. Let's pray for another Cartagena screamer, says Stream Jesus. Oh my God, I'm into that. There you go. Gnocchi says this summer there's supposed to be some kind of salary dump, says Gnocchi. There you go. Jim D. Dagger is the best right wing on the team right now. Right, John?
Well, what about Ojeda, Jim D? You just said you want Ojeda in there. What's he gonna play? I think I'm annoyed with the fact that he got subs. We talked about it on
Yeah.
Monday. Start the man. He looks like our best DP right now. We look lively when he's on the field. I really hope he's going to be in the lineup. That brings us on, Luis. Should we do the lineup?
Yeah, for sure. Let's do the lineup.
Look at that segue. Accidental segue. Love it.
It's a perfect segue right there. Thank you to everybody watching us live. We're about 70 people on X and about 10 people on YouTube. Thank you so much for your support. This is Loud and Proud Orlando. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and any other way that you listen to your podcasts as well. If you don't want to watch us and see our ugly, I'm just kidding. Or you don't want to see our pretty faces, there you go. You can definitely listen to us as well. And we're also on with the Stoneheads. We'll discuss that in just a moment. But there is a lineup right here. All right. In my opinion, let's put Grinny from the Charleston Band. I'm just kidding. Let's put.
Why is Gritty like the joke of your goalkeepers? Poor guy.
Well, I'm just saying, some people, it's just their judgment is just crazy to me. But okay.
I think they have an ex goalkeeper. I can't remember who is it.
Let's do what's this? Sing, right?
Yeah, they have Sing on their squad.
Let's do Galese right there. The back four, I think he needs to stay. I think Dagger, right? Dagger Dan. Brecalo. Jensen.
Yep.
And Kyle Smith. Or
yeah,
Rafa Santos. I think Kyle Smith because Roddy's gonna be right there. So
yeah.
Then our double pivot, right? Which they gotta be on point also. They have a monster game.
They looked really good last game. So
I agree.
Double pivot is officially back. We just need it to stay back. Or be back permanently.
I totally botch. Now, June the 14th. Peru. It's been announced June the 14th. Peru will play against El Salvador in Subaru Park in Philadelphia in preparation to Copa America. So I do want to let you guys know. According to my sources back in South America, Gales and Cartagena are definitely going to be part of Copa America. So just FYI. And then right here, now this is the three up top. Right? To me, John, I feel we should see. I don't know. Then you could tell me what you think. Angulo on the left, in the mid, Facu Torres, and on the right, Martin Ojeda. What are your thoughts?
I think that's the only logical possible lineup I want to see on Saturday, Louis.
Yep.
I think it was Ladero. It was like he was playing right wing, and Facu was still in the center. Just no.
Well, they can switch positions, all three of them. I mean, they've been doing that.
They do, but I think when you played Nico, he's just an attacking mid. He's not a winger. So when they all switching around, then you've got Nico out on the wing.
Correct.
Who's now like a wide playmaker. Like he's not a winger. He's not going to be able to dribble and run it, guys. So I think that attacking mid change around works better when you have three guys who, are actually attacking wingers as well as attacking mids. But yeah. And then Muriel, El Toro. I don't want to bash him too much, even though we have so much. I feel bad because I'm still hopeful that Muriel will come good, but he's also really frustrating, and it's very annoying the fact that he's played this many games and still not scored is yeah.
I mean, it's gonna feel like when he scores, it's gonna feel like when when the girl you like, you ask her on a date, man. And then she says yes,
I hope so.
I think
the stadium's gonna go nuts when he scores.
Of course,
it's the more we talk about the fact that he's not scored, the more it makes me feel like it's never gonna happen. It's knock on wood, that's not the case, but hopefully we see Muriel finally hit one.
Stream Jesus says, "What a banger pod! Thank you guys for doing this after a busy day." No, thank you, Stream Jesus. Appreciate that. We had the recipe last year. Put Nico at the 10 to replace Mauricio. Play Ojeda on the right wing. Bench Facu as a sub. I mean, look, Jim. I'll be telling you right now, straight up. I understand. I've seen all y'all conspiracy theories. You guys are like the Facebook conspiracy theories I get on my feed all the time now. I'm telling you, that's not gonna happen, bro. It will happen when we really see Facundo not being able to do absolutely anything, because he's cost $15 million to the club. It's like you benching Neymar on PSG. Like it may happen in other leagues, but again, MLS is a beast on their own. I highly doubt he's going to be benched just because the fans want him benched.
I think it's wild that we see Ojeda and like Facu differently in that way just because of the price lineup. And like obviously Oscar sees it differently because he's quite,
sure.
Like you said, and this is you saying that is based off what we know from Oscar.
Oscar.
And what we've seen.
That's the only reason. It's not because I want to. If it was
happily,
me, I agree with everybody.
Yeah, he'll happily drop Ojeda, but we very rarely, if never, seen him unless he's injured or tired drop Facu out of form. So I would have liked it last week. I think he should have been dropped and if you're going to play Nico, I would have, like I said, I would have kept Ojeda in instead of Facu. But it's like we said with Pedro, right, Luis? Like he's a big part of the team. You're going to give him time to figure it out. And Oscar is not going to drop him for, unless he really, really has to.
Now, we've seen some improvement of Facu Torres. I've seen a slight. I will say, if you give me from 0 to 10, I've seen a 5. Now he's a 5 out of 10. Before it was a 0 or a 10, in my opinion. Like, I was really disappointed with the way his season started for Facu Torres. But now, after this 4 points, I feel he's a 5 out of 10. I think in his next 2 home games, we need to see at least an 8 out of 10 Facu Torres in both games. If he doesn't do that, then it's up to the coach to truly. I mean, I would agree at that point. If I see him not doing anything and pretty much Orlando City playing with 10 the whole game, and there's a huge gap right in the middle, forcing Araujo and Cartagena to do double duty, you know what I mean? Then I would like to see, yeah, bench him, put Ojeda here, and put, take Muriel out, maybe put a different player there. You put what's his name?
Duncan.
From Sounders,
Oh,
former
Nico.
Sounders player, Nico Lodero. You put Nico Lodero in the middle. You put Ojeda on the right, and then you change Muriel. You put Duncan Maguire. Now,
I
are we going to see that? We don't know, unless I have a crystal ball and I don't practice Santeria. You know what I mean?
I think it's a case of the DPs need to start producing, and like we said,
Yeah.
and that's all it comes down to. And hopefully Faku can bring it alive, and hopefully Muriel can bring it alive. But that's why I'm adamant that Ojeda needs to be in there, because right now he's the most lively of the three of them. And Angulo's looking good again.
Yeah, look,
Double
Angulo's-
pivot. There's defensively, I'm very happy with this lineup. I think we're being sloppy, like we said. So it's a lot of positives to this lineup when all the players are performing well. But right now, some of the key ones are not producing.
I love that picture from the hunker down with his puppy eating a pop cup. That's fantastic. Kara scored way more than Muriel. Bring back Kara. Actually, no. You know how many goals he scored in Turkey? You know how many goals he scored so far in Turkey this season?
A bunch, I bet, yeah.
No.
None?
Like I think 3 goals.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he has more than Muriel for now, but
Yeah.
But either way, I do agree. I think the DPs need to work for us to have a great season, and I think at the moment, if we don't see, like again, if we see Facu Torres not doing anything, I think Oscar needs to have needs to tell him, hey, we're gonna put Ojeda. You need some time to cool off. Take your time, but you have to understand they're gonna put their trust because of the group. Because you have to understand this is a group of players too. Like if you want to talk about group management and how to manage a group of athletes, and I know I'm comparing peace to a golden apple, but Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti, the way he can manage that group. Do you think he's going to bench Vinny? Do you think he's going to bench maybe Luka Modric or maybe Toni Kroos? Probably not, right? So he has a vertebrae of players that he's going to ride or die with, and as they themselves betray him or betray the group or just completely perform to a point that there's no turning back, that it's just, it's going to affect the group itself, that they're going to sub him out. It happens in every single team in the world, in my opinion. So, it is like that. So, the lineup for the game against Toronto: Galese up top, Daggerdan, Brecalo, Jansen Smith, Cesar Araujo, Cartagena, Facundo Torres, Ivan Angulo, Martín Ojeda, and Luis El Toro Muriel. That's the prediction here. What's your prediction for the game, John? Your score predictions?
Oh, 2-0.
Okay. I'll go.
I don't know where that clean sheet's coming from, but yeah.
I'll stay with my 3-0 Orlando win. Right. Hopefully with a goal from Luis Muriel and Martín Ojeda. I definitely would love to see him score. And the third goal, we could be another Brecalo goal. Another Brecalo goal. Be good to have on the score sheet again. I want to say hello to also David Brecalo fans. If you guys look that up on Twitter, great account. I want to give kudos to them. They always put really great material, and they always represent LPO. They always put some reels of me mispronouncing Brecalo's name. So thank you so much. I'm learning trial
No,
and
he's
error
saying
there.
we pronounce it right, but there is a clip of us pronouncing it wrong 3 times, and then we get
Totally
it right.
wrong. Totally wrong. Yeah. Well, anyways, we're gonna be touching a great opportunity for LPO. I think to reach a much bigger audience. So if anybody watching, we're gonna kind of tell you guys some really exciting news for us. So we were invited by Brendan Kravitz from 96.9 The Game. Um, he's a radio personality in Orlando with a lot of good news reporters and good staff that talk about the Magic, the Valkyries. They talk about UCF. And so the Zoneheads in the Zone, the show was looking for kind of in a way a Orlando City content, right? Orlando City content, Orlando Pride content, OCB. And so they searched and then they got to this humble show, Loud and Proud Orlando, this humble brand. And we are now partnering with the Stoneheads Orlando to have a, what is it? I will call it like a micro pod, like a
It's like
micro pod.
a 20-30 minute update, sort of
It's
like
like
a
a
news.
teaser update.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it's like a
for the fans that maybe don't follow Orlando City so
right,
much.
right. So and definitely Brandon is definitely putting a lot of trust in us to provide the best content, and I think it's going to allow us to reach new eyes and new ears also for our brand. So we're excited to announce it today. Every Wednesday, we're gonna have LPO with the Stoneheads Orlando. Right here, there's a Facebook group, right, John? So would you want me to show right
Yeah.
here?
So just like we have for many different Orlando City groups, the one that we actually run, and there's some other ones, but the Zone Heads Orlando. So to kind of explain further, the Zone Heads is something that came from Brandon's time on the radio. His fans, like, they're in the zone, so they call themselves the Zone Heads. He's then made this spin-off podcast, which is all Orlando sports, right, Louis? So
Yeah,
there's UCF baseball, like, that's in there, and everything to do with UCF. And you've
the
got like
Magic, obviously.
the
Yeah,
Magic, Solar Bears, Valkyries, everything. They've done like little episodes. So they have a weekly schedule, and they bring out different things each week of the day of the week. So we are the Wednesday slots, and we're gonna be doing an Orlando City update every week on the show.
and
And so
Orlando Pride
this,
too.
yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about Orlando Pride. So their forum is basically just a place for their community where you guys can talk. And so we invite you to join. Me and Luis are in there, just like we are in the Orlando City ones. And everybody right now is in there talking about the Magic playoffs that are literally going on as we speak. And then from there, that kind of grows the community. For us, Luis, it's different because we're making a Wednesday pod that's just really for your casual soccer fans, like your
Right,
Orlando sports fans is what this is for. So it's like you said, it's reaching a different audience for us. We're out here all the time talking to you guys who are
right.
hardcore Orlando City fans. Like
Hardcore Orlando City
you're
fans.
only
Right.
here if you're hardcore. So this is something we're doing to kind of encapsulate more of the casual Orlando City fans.
The casual
And
fans, yeah.
yeah, and I going the other way, Luis. I was listening today. They had an episode out earlier this week, all about the Magic. All about the Solar Bears going into the playoffs and what their run looks like, and their playoff games coming up. And I've been a Solar Bears fan for many years. Like, loosely, I've been to some games. So it's working both ways, which I love. So if you're an Orlando sports fan, you probably might keep up with several of these teams, or maybe you've fallen off, or maybe you just want to know what's up with UCF baseball or whatever. Check them out, because I think they're really good, sort of short 20-minute, 30-minute episodes that just help you, learn a little bit more about the Orlando sports landscape and what's going on. And we're really honored that Brandon found us and selected us, and we want to thank him for that. And it's great to be part of a wider sports podcast community.
Yeah, for sure. And it's honestly amazing to be working with, and obviously for people that we've listened, like I've listened on the radio, like Brandon, like also Mike Bianchi. Me living in Orlando. Now that Mike Bianchi may be in a same enclosed space like LPO, it's like honestly an honor. Um, and so it's great that you guys and what you guys also bring into the, because this wouldn't be possible without you guys. So I do want to say this would not be possible without the 62 people watching us on Twitter right now and the 5 people watching us on YouTube and the people that consume our content. It would not be possible without you guys. But we also believe in, you know be that outlet, be that podcast. So this is a next step for us to also get the brand noticed a little more, and I think it's going to be fantastic. So I'm very excited to for LPO to be part of this, and also thanks to I feel like John and Paola have a huge part on this as well. So I think John is a fantastic host. I do want to say, I'm not always praise him live. Hopefully you're not blushing, John, but no, but it's been a turnaround 360. I mean, what John has brought into the table for LPL and also what Paola brings every podcast is phenomenal. So you know it's great. So this is a good opportunity for us to get Orlando and Orlando City and the message of what it means to be an Orlando City supporter out to a wider audience. Kind of like wrestling. You have your marks and you have your casual fans. At this point, we're trying to be like the WWE. We're trying to hit both. We don't want to be AEW or New Japan, if you know what I'm talking about. The flippity floppers, we just want to target everybody. I know John is probably like,
You've
what's
lost me.
happening?
You lost
There
me
you
there.
go.
I don't
A
know.
little transition right there.
um,
But
I think it's also, Luis, reminds me of a time that we always talk about this, but we need more people to come and join the
yeah,
podcast. It's something that we talked about several times. So we've got the Pride podcast. We're doing this 2 nights a week. We are, I would say,
everywhere.
stretched thin, I'd say, is the word I'd
George
use.
Armstrong.
Yeah, there were some comments here saying like I can't think of names of players or teams we played last week. It's just because I'm so tired.
Yes,
So we need all of we're looking for people to come and help. So if you feel like you could do what we do and you feel like you know enough about Orlando City or Orlando Pride or whatever you want to do to help contribute the podcast, whether that's you think you could do graphics for us or you want to take photos, or let us know, because we're open to help, and we're always here to at least try and work with you and get something going that could be started. Because this, like, I'm just here because me and Luis had a phone conversation what was that, like over a year, like a year and a half
yeah,
ago.
it's crazy,
and
right?
and
It's
now
almost 2 years now.
yeah, and 18 months later, here we are. So you don't know where things are going to go. And doing the Pride podcast this year
It's
has been
amazing.
it's been a great addition, and everything that we've been doing just to try and, like Luis says, grow the podcast. And like, our numbers have been growing, and we're getting more subscribers, we're getting more listeners. So that's all down to you guys as well with your likes and shares. So we say it a lot, but thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the Pride Pod is something that we really love doing. Not that we don't love doing the Orlando Pod, but the Orlando City Pod, but because I started covering the club with the Pride. So with Alonso, actually, for Alonso's outlet. So that's a little bit of a history of where I started. I started with Area Sports Network, and so it's then I transitioned to Orlando City. Then eventually he moved into Orlando, and then he took over Orlando for Area Sports, and then I did my own was started a LPO podcast. And it's been great. I think Pride deserves his own show. I tried to do it last year. It was impossible due to timing, but this year I told John, I was like, we gotta do it, man. Like, and he even said the same thing. It's like, yeah, we got it. We saw the end of the season last year. We're like, come on, man. It was like this close. I was like, yeah, we got to do it this season, man. There's no what and yeah, we all put a little bit of a sacrifice, John with time, myself as well. I have another pod too at night, and so which is like 2 hours long. So if people wonder, it's 2.5 hours long sometimes, and so but we pulled the effort because we love what we're doing here. And the changes that are coming, and the positive atmosphere that the show brings to the city. So as long as we are a weapon of positiveness, I'm all 110% with this. Hunker down laughs. Jim D, thanks for the hard work, guys. I have to go. Best luck on your new endeavor. Thank you so much, Jim D. Hunker down. Congrats, LPO. Thank you so much, Hunker down. Guille, Carlos, we got the assist. You scored the goal. Congratulations. No, thank you, Carlos. Appreciate that. No, but it's going to be great. I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic news, John. So we're going to keep pushing. Don't forget, guys, for everybody to support Loud and Proud, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell for all notifications. If you are on Spotify or Apple Podcast, on the description of the audio, you will see our social media. Also, Paola's channel will be there. If you speak Spanish, you'll be able to follow it there too. We're available on X at LPO podcast _podcast, on Instagram at LPO _podcast, Facebook and YouTube as well. Before we go, I wanted to just kind of real quick, fast, calling Gusk, right? MLS next pro, before I forget, right, John?
Yeah.
Phenomenal signing. This is Orlando City right here. This is the process.
What is he? 16? No.
17 years old.
17. Yeah.
Man, I'm old, man.
Is this the next? Did they just sign him so they could sell him?
Yeah,
What was the
1
guy?
year.
Granados. We just did that last year with.
Granados, yeah, that's
just
playing
gotta-
in Brujas.
He scored a goal the other day. He scored a really good goal for OCB the other day. So
Yeah,
he's
so
already
this is
looking
another-
like a bright talent in that team. Like he's getting starts. So
yeah, just like
17 years
Taifi.
old. Whew.
Man, that's like, man, I feel so old when just like Taifi, just like Otero, just like all these players, another young talent. I love the OCB jersey. If we could buy it, like I will buy it. Don't you think it's
No.
pretty cool? You don't like it?
No, I love it. They don't sell it. They have to make it because they can't use
Oh.
the Orlando City one.
Oh, the Orlando City
They
one.
have to make a jersey, but they only make it for the team because but then ironically they made a really nice like I wanted a purple and black jersey for so long, and then there it is, and no one can buy it.
Right. But anyways, congratulations to Colin Gusk, and any last words you want to say, John, before we go?
No, just thank you again to everybody. We are here every Monday and Thursday for Orlando City, and Tuesday for Orlando Pride. So if you are someone who listens later and you think maybe I'll come join live, we encourage you to do so, because as you can see, we get a lot of comments on. We enjoy interacting with you. So come hang out with us. That's my plea. And see you all there on Saturday for a home game. Finally, it's been so long, Luis. We've had a city home game. So I'm excited. Paula's not going to be there. She's let me down. I thought we were going to go tailgate, but that's okay. I'll go tailgate with some other people.
No problem. Well, I wish you all an amazing rest of your day. And as always, vamos Orlando. Take care, guys. Have a
Vamos,
wonderful night.
Orlando.
Vamos Orlando. Take care.